Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is a primarily rough cut first aid, mostly for outdoors, but I've been trained in first aid and I continue to use first aid on myself and other people because I see it all the time. Basic first aid. And I'm going to detail that here right now. If you're going outside, there are three things you should have. One, a note or a map where you're going and have somebody on the outside who knows where you're going. Two, have 2 quarts of water, because if you get lost, no matter what, you'll have water. You can live a couple days without anything else, but make sure that you have water. You don't need to eat every single day. You might go hungry, it might feel horrible, but if you don't have water, something to put in your stomach and to sustain yourself as you're exhausted and so on, you're not going to do very well and you're going to decline extremely quickly. 3, make sure that you have food and other needs and that you're safe. Safety is key also. If you're putting yourself in a dangerous situation and you don't have anything else, you're going to have your rate of survival goes down severely. So make sure at least those are in place and that somebody knows where you are, preferably that you know where you are and you know how to get around there. And if you don't, that you have somebody who does know with you, or that you're with a group. I'm going to go over that in many different subjects, but basic first aid to have something going forward. That I'm going to go over detail in first aid. I've been trained in first aid several times and I continue to have an active first aid responder and wilderness responder, first aid responder, as well as a few other things. That's not where my push is. My goal right now is to be a nature guide, and I have that backup. I always carry a first aid kit. I always carry extra water for people because I know people are basically like, oh, I don't need that. And I'm like, do you have water? It's one of the first things. If you're going to go hiking with me, you carry your own water. I'm not carrying it for you anymore. I did that for a long time. I used to carry around literally 30 to 40 pounds of water for all the people who I would see would be like, do you have water? And they'd be like, oh my God, I'm dying. And I'm like, just hand them water. And they're like, you want it back? I'm like, no, it's yours, man. I'm not touching that after you do. Just during the pandemic, it was crazy. During the pandemic, I would, on the average, run across 10 to 15 people a day that didn't have water and were lost. Just crazy. And I'm not in a highly populated area. I'm not in a city. I was going out in nature, but the number of people was totally insane who just didn't know what to do when they went outside. So this is first aid. It's basic first aid, things to know for being outside. Wilderness first aid we'll get into later on. I'll go 3 different branches. Basic first aid. I'm not going to go too crazy, but I'll take apart my first aid kit, my basic first aid kit. I'll take apart a more detailed first aid kit and tell you what is and what is not useful in that. The thing that you'll purchase in a basic first aid kit, you empty out the entire thing and I'll show you what you need for wilderness first aid, or what actually there's what could be needed that everybody might need at some point is not actually first aid, and they'll miss several things. The highest rated first aids don't start at around $5 or $10. They start at around $100 or $200 and go up from there. And while you probably don't want to spend that much money, you don't have to. You can get a really first aid kit, and I can detail you what you need to pretty much take care of anybody and everybody if you're going to be outside. Half of what you need is in the environment. You have to know what to get when you, or see, acknowledge when you have somebody in an emergency situation. And if you have somebody in a life-threatening situation, first thing you do is call 911 if you can reach it, and you keep that line open and have somebody else handle the call and tell them it's an emergency life-threatening situation, and to give them location. If you're in that situation, Lord help you. Have somebody hold your, hold your phone if you have a phone, or give them your contact ASAP, and or you're up shit creek. I can't help you out of an emergency situation, but I can give you lots of food for thought for if you're in that situation, or if you find yourself with somebody who doesn't know how to handle themselves, and you can quickly assess the situation, get them help, and get them on their way, or have other people nearby to get them on their way and assist them for whatever situation comes up. People will be happy to tell you when they have a problem, I can't do this. And you have to look at them and say, I'm not doing it for you. So either you do it or you're going to sit here and die. And they can, you can say, I'm going to walk away until you make, you ground yourself and you sit with them for a moment, let them talk it out and whatnot. And you can step away and say, well, you got yourself in this problem and I don't have to handle it for you, but I'm here to offer you first aid, and I have a more than basic first aid down, and I've gotten trained or whatever. For those of you who have gotten trained in first aid and who want to know a little bit more, not just about first aid, but about wilderness first aid, I encourage you to get a wilderness first aid training. It's a little more extensive, a little more involved. It's usually a little bit cheaper, and it's harder to find. I'm not going to track that down for you. I have too many other things to do. But again, my name is Jem, and this is first aid for the outdoors primarily, comma, oh my God, the blooper reel, comma. I'm used to texting and so on, so I apologize. Basic first aid for outdoors, wilderness first aid, and first aid for really, really remote situations, along with stepping away from the Western medicine a little bit into herbalism, and what you absolutely should carry for yourself. And if you're vegan or sensitive and so forth, these are all things that other people should know, but you know about yourself, what your allergies are and so forth. And always have that. If you don't have a wristband, have it on your person, what your allergies are, carry that and so forth. So again, this is me, Jem, and my YouTube channel at Behr, Behr Nature. So all in lowercase, Behr Nature on my YouTube channel. I also have a website which is not up and running yet, but it will be soon, because that's what I believe in. Watch for other videos in first aid, and if you're interested in anything else, please consider subscribing or looking around, or not subscribing. Share this with your friends going forward, and I will look forward to seeing your comments and whatnot. Thank you again. Cheers.